All right, so the big news for PC gamers and quite honestly gamers in general is RTX 3090, 3080, and Titan specs leaked. So the original article here is from, well, actually there's a lot of articles about it over on Hot Hardware, WCCF Tech, OC3D.net. But basically what it looks like is Nvidia is going to be shaking up their branding a little bit. I'm going to go ahead and pull up the WCCF Tech article here, and getting rid of TI and maybe Super, but probably not Super, because Super is one of those things that kind of comes later, maybe. But it seems to be that Nvidia has found consumers are having a hard time differentiating between what constitutes a TI and what constitutes a Super. And I should probably clarify, I pronounce TI wrong, according to Nvidia. According to them, it is TIE, which I think is the stupidest thing ever, because TIE is spelled TIE. Both like real world ties and fictional ties, like TIE fighters, are spelled TIE. So if you wanted to call it titanium, I could get behind that. You know, you got your periodic table of elements, you got your symbol for titanium there, you got a TI. No problem. Get behind that, absolutely. But unless it's titanium, which actually apparently it is, that's what it's short for. So I guess like TI is sort of like short for titanium. Okay, there's a justification. I just went and undid my own argument. I still hate it. It's TI. And
didn't you know all that already though?
Yeah, I did. I just forgot. Sometimes I know things, but then I forget them. It happens a lot. And then sometimes I remember them while I'm in the middle of talking, and then I realize I sound like an idiot.
I was like so ready to swoop in. You just cut me off and countered your own argument.
Yep, I destroyed myself. I'm tired of other people doing it, you know?
It's like the 8 Mile rap battle where you just like went after yourself before the other rapper could and just won because of that. It's like, oh, no.
I have never seen 8 Mile.
It's actually, well, I haven't seen it since it came out, but I liked it a lot when it came out.
A long time ago. All right, so let's talk about the specs. So according to the leaks, the RTX 3080, so we would expect based on current generation pricing, let's just have a quick look here. We would expect that to come in around the sort of $1,000-ish and low price point. So you can get an RTX 2080 Super for kind of $700. So that's US. So that would be around 900 something Canadian dollars, somewhere in that neighborhood. So that is rumored to have the same number of CUDA cores, so 4352, as the 2080 Ti. And depending on how much they're able to ramp clock speeds up, that could mean that for around 700 US dollars, you could be looking at more like $1,200, current gen performance. That's not a bad little uplift. That also assumes, of course, that Nvidia doesn't go ahead and bring us this next generation of graphics card at higher performance and then proportionally higher prices. I wouldn't put it past them. The RTX 3090, so this sounds like the direct replacement for the 2080 Ti, will apparently have 5,248 CUDA cores. That's about 20% more than the 2080 Ti. So a combination of clock speed improvements and architectural improvements should result in significantly better performance. We're also looking at faster memory, apparently GDDR6X with a 384-bit bus for the 3090. And for full specs, apparently I need to just take a look at the charts on one of the websites here. Not video cards, because that one doesn't have a chart. So why don't we try OC3D.net.
What do you think about them using 90?
I think it's lame, because 90 used to mean dual GPU.
Dual GPU.
Yeah. So
we might have just boomered ourselves there a little bit.
Yeah, like, okay, boomer, no, 90 means whatever. Way to go, idiot.
Because they haven't done it in a while, but
no,
90
they haven't.
Definitely meant dual GPU.
They haven't done it since the 690. And since then, it's just been 80s and TIs. And this is kind of it is kind of a bigger change than it might initially feel like, because 8 has been associated with NVIDIA's high end for Wow, very long time. We can go all the way back to, I think, for GeForce 4000 series. It topped
Just
out at 4600.
just a quick heads up as well.
Yeah.
Apparently, YouTube is dead for a bunch of people.
Oh, okay. Nothing I can do about that other than tell
Yep.
people, hey, why don't you go ahead and subscribe on Floatplane?
Yes.
Woo, Floatplane. You can also go watch on Twitch for free. All right. Hey, got him. Okay, so the last time Nvidia didn't make it all the way to 8, I guess, would have been like GeForce 4000 series. I think the 4600 Ti was the top end then. Don't quote me on that. This is like pre me being into like hardcore gaming. And then they definitely had a high end for the 5000 series. So the 5800, and then they refreshed that with a like basically like overclocked variant, the 5900 Ultra. So that's the last time I remember them using a 9 sort of suffix on a high-end single GPU card. After that, 6800 Ultra was the top end. Then it was 70. No, I lied. There was a 7900 GTX. Okay, so maybe Nvidia's real problem here isn't that they're abandoning a long tradition, but rather that they just have no idea what they're doing when it comes when it comes to naming their products. They're just making
I will say I think this is better.
Do you? Oh,
if you ignore the past, I think this is better.
And the 200 series had the 285. And then they just skipped 300 series.
There was, I think, wasn't 300 like
it was like OEM only
PC product?
Yeah, they rebranded some cheapo 200 series, if I recall correctly, and they were
shoved it in some OEM PCs and then moved on.
There might have been like a mobile thing or something like that. It was just obviously purely branding. No new actual technology.
Yeah.
Pulling up the go ahead.
What do you think of the naming scheme though? I think it's less confusing for sure.
Well,
it's going to be more confusing for people that have been in this space. But if you're new and looking at cards, it's more straightforward.
It's less confusing until they start like around with it, because that's what happens every time. The RTX lineup wasn't confusing until all of a sudden, it was a little confusing because they did away with GTX branding and brought in RTX. But like, I guess it like kind of makes sense because it has ray tracing hardware on it. Fine, fair enough.
Sure.
But they brought in this RTX branding and everything was pretty clear. So we had I'm trying to remember the cards they actually launched with. Don't quote me on it, but the kind of initial wave lineup, right, is your 2080 Ti, your 2080, your 2070, your 2060. And then if you go below that, actually, this was really confusing. You had same generation Turing GPU, but then it dropped the RTX capabilities, which meant that instead of being RTX 2000, it was GTX.
I think there might be some trademarking issues with this, but I would have really preferred if they did GTX-R. I think that would have looked super cool.
That would have been pretty sweet, actually. So what do I think of the name? Oh, yeah, right. And Turing got even more confusing because now, is it the 1650 or something like that has either 3 or 4 different actual hardware variants? Really? Or is it the 1660? I can't remember. One of the mid-tier cards has a number of different GPU configurations that you might actually end up getting. Some new.
So there's 1660, 1660 Ti, 1660 Super, and there was a 1666 gig, wasn't there? So I think there's the 1660. I'm going off the top of my head. I could totally be wrong. I think there's 1663 gig, 1660. Oh, it's 5 gig. Someone says in chat.
Yeah, I can't remember what the rules are, so I'm really sorry. I'm just gonna stop saying stuff when I'm not sure. I know that one of the mid-tier non-RTX cards, there is a variety of different hardware configurations that you can get. And that, to me, is, as a techie, really confusing. But I guess as long as they tune the performance so it's about what you would expect for the number, then I guess it doesn't matter. Except when it does, because there was that RTX 2060 that was using the same GPU as the RTX 2070. Or was it the 2080? Ah, dang it! Now I can't remember that one either. Whatever. It used a different GPU, a higher tier GPU, but then it sort of ended up being about the same in gaming, but like much better for professional workloads. And I was like, okay, what's going on? Things are getting really confused. It was specifically the RTX 2060 KO from EVGA, and it came in at this like super low price. Yeah, here we go. It used TU104 instead of TU106, which is the GPU that you would expect to find in an initial one, RTX 2060. So it ends up
geez.
being very, very confusing. And that particular one was clocked about the same number of ROPs. What did it end up having more of? Oh, I cannot
It
remember,
has 6 gigs of
unfortunately.
memory.
They both do.
Okay.
Yeah, the regular KO and the KO and the regular 2060 both have the same amount of memory. It's just the 2060 Super got the 8 gig upgrade, if I recall correctly. So yeah, it's fine for now. So we're probably gonna have like 20. So coming out of the gate, we're gonna have a 2080, a 2090, or excuse me, a 3080 and 3090, and then some kind of like Titan, and then probably they'll follow up with like a 3070, 3060, and then it'll get confusing when they start sort of saying, oh, well, we've got some scrap 3070 GPUs. Maybe we'll throw some of these in a 3060 and call it like a, KO. And then, but going way back, this has always been the case. I remember one of the best GPU deals back when I was working in sales at NCIX was the 7900 GTO. So this came around right before the 8000 series was due to launch. And as far as we could tell, it was basically Nvidia dumping a bunch of remaining 7900 GTXs onto EVGA, and it was like hundreds of dollars cheaper than buying a GTX, even though the GTX was available at exactly the same time, and the performance was nearly identical.
I remember this for sure.
It
This was
was
pretty early on for me.
it was a super, super weird card. Apparently it did not support HDCP, but then no, I don't think any of the 7000 series is. Wow, that's funny to think about things like that being issues, like not being able to play back high def content. I remember that. Huh, that's
Recommended
funny.
gaming resolution 1280 by 720 or 640 by
Hey,
480.
very
Nice.
nice. So here we
Nice.
go. I've got an ancient thread from September 2006 over on Hard Forum. Let's see if yay, there it is. Look at that. Stolen from crazyhorse.sd.net, blah, 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 blah. M-Wave raised their price to 260. Remember when like a high-end, like, but value GPU could be had for $260? Wow, things have really changed over the years, haven't they?
I think
So
that's scaled a little bit faster than inflation on that one.
it had the same clock speed, same number of pixel pipelines as the GTX, but I think, yeah, the memory might have been lower clocked. And Nvidia wasn't the only one who pulled this kind of stuff back in the old days. X800 GTO squared, I remember that thing. That's funny. Well, nobody seems to have it. That's okay. 512 megs with a 7900 GTX cooler on it for $250. Yeah, should blow away a 7950 GT for $50 less. Like, this thing was absolutely nuts. I miss this kind of thing. And like, I get it. A company like Nvidia or EVGA for that matter, like all these guys have probably gotten a lot slicker in terms of their supply chain management and sourcing, and like not accidentally ending up with a whole bunch of GPUs that they have to get rid of right before they launch a new generation. But it really did make things more fun.
It's true. I don't know. I liked it when it was like basically impossible to keep track of everything, and they just released like new stuff every like 4 to 6 months.
Yeah, well,
Yeah.
that ship sailed a
Yeah.
long time ago.
It's gone.
You know what's crazy to think about is the RTX 2080 launch was, I think it was
Quite a while
it was
ago.
somewhere between 18 months and 2 years ago. Give me a sec here. I'm just gonna find it. Yeah, November 2019. So that was
2019 November.
Wait a minute. Yeah, that's not that bad. Wait. No, that can't be right. No.
I don't think
Excuse me. September 2018. That's
There we
it.
go.
So
Okay.
we are coming up on 2 years since the RTX 2000 series launched. And in that time, the most mind-boggling thing to me about it is that AMD has still not managed to put forward something that's competitive. Although, you know what? I'm going to do it. Luke, I'm doing it. I'm having hope for the RDNA 2 based cards.
Okay.
I've decided AMD has been good enough to me over the last couple of years on the CPU side of things that I am ready to put myself out there again. I'm ready.
Are you gonna commit to put one in your personal rig?
What? No. But that's a stupid question. I mean, in much the same way, I wouldn't commit to put Nvidia's new graphics card in my system. It could be an unstable mess.
I was just checking if it was love or hope, you know?
It's hope. It's still definitely hope. Yeah, it's hope.
Yeah.
And I can love to be hopeful,